So a very powerful speaker captivated her audience on this particular day, and they were like listening to every word. And she says, I was born in a small area of South Carolina. I was born to a mother who was deaf and mute. My father, even to this day, I have no idea who my father is, and I worked the early days in a cotton field. Do not ever think that based upon where you were, who your teachers were, people that have let you down, your environment, your culture, whatever false belief you've had about yourself, never believe that those particular energies or beliefs can hold you back. And then she steps forward. Let me introduce myself. My name is A.Z. Taylor Morton. I am the Treasurer of the United States of America. Wow. Yes. African American woman. During Carter's era, not surprising. And the only African American woman whose signature is on our currency. So, what did she say again? She said, clearly, don't ever think that where you're from, who birthed you, what happened, your culture, your environment can prevent you ever from where you line in your soul mission to be. Yes. If you hold that and your particulars, it will be. I love the story of the parents that are watching the little boy as he walks into his new sister's room, and there's the baby in the crib. And he says, can you teach me about God? I'm starting to forget. I'm starting to forget. Wow. So many people, right, want to forget or have a false identity or something, wrong information, and so they want to disconnect from the very source in which created them in the first place. I have found many a time on someone's deathbed when they're getting ready to fly and they get their wings. You know, we start out crawling, then we wind up ultimately with wings. But they then start asking for God. Wow. But what if we didn't need to die to be making that connection? What if the subtleties of death, that we continue to make that connection, you see? It's very interesting to me because we don't question 2 + 2 = 4. We don't question that. We don't question that if you put liquid water in a little tray and you put it into a freezing temperature that it's going to become solid, right? And my mother never questioned all her adult life up until she was 80 that she was Indian, even though the DNA test says we don't have any Indian in us at all. But why do we not question in a very powerful way, in an energetic presence, if I am from this immense power, how can I express it more powerfully? So what we do here is we take solid ideas, we do the opposite. We take solid ideas and we make them liquid for you. All right. So you can formulate your own answer. We are not a place that people come and they sit around and they laugh and they clap and they go, wow, that person has our answers. That doesn't happen here. I don't have your answers. I ignite an energetic presence within you for you to stand in a place that you have your answer. Right? It's a very different box. You know, and sometimes, you know, people say, I've come here a few times, but I'm still waiting, I'm still waiting for that, for that thing, that surprise. And it's like, well, you'll be waiting the rest of your life. You'll reincarnate here before you'll ever hear, leader here tell you that they're all that and they have your answer. We don't have that here because it doesn't work. It's very evident in our world that it doesn't work. We had Easter packed house, right? We had Easter, and we did the loving essence. It was amazing, and we did the Christ is risen, and many a place throughout the world today is crucifying Jesus right now, because they're crucifying what he really stood for. They're crucifying a message that's really about, hey, I did it and you can do it. I mean, we believe in many master teachers here at First Unity, right? But when we look at the story of what Jesus taught, he came at a time that people had absolutely surrendered their individuality of God, and they became controlled. And so he came because he realized people weren't out in nature anymore. People weren't participating anymore with the divine in that way. And they were just being herded. You know, wherever people told them to go, they told them to go. Like when you're on a cruise and they tell you you're going to get your hands washed before you can go sit down. Some of us say we don't do that. We don't put chemicals in our body. Other people, they don't even ask. You just go, okay. You know, he came at a time to say to everybody, come on now. Yes. You can use these natural laws for the betterment of your life. Yes. And you can love everything and everyone. And anything that you see is God made, so love it. Because if it don't love you, it will make you old way before your time, right? And he said, I am the participatory. Facebook, we're here. They're here, people. I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. Those are your three primary secrets. You're looking for a secret? That's it. Your energetic presence. I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one can get to the Spirit except through me. Through that understanding, you see, to get through that understanding, to know that you are here to live your own way. Yes. And you know it, and I know it, and I know the times that I haven't listened to my way. Is there anybody else stubborn or a rebel here? Of course, because I attracted you and we belong together, you know. Of course you are, you know. But, you know, you go, I know I need to go this way, but I'm not going to do it anyway. I know that guy isn't right for me, but, you know, I mean, I'm going to do it anyway. I know he doesn't fit with my list of my 82 things for the right and perfect person, but, you know, I'm going to go at it anyway. And wow, do we suffer, don't we? Oh, my gosh. We deny the way of our soul path often. And when we say that I am the way, wow, that has a lot of meaning. It's not just campy words or an honoring of one individual, but a master teacher that said, here's how you get there. You honor your way, and you live your truth of what can be. We're grateful that AZ, right, did not live conditions. We're grateful that she did not listen to things not being possible because she believed in her own truth. And when you're questioning your way, when you're questioning your truth, if you could simply bring life. Life. And you know, when you're bringing life, you can tell. Yes. You don't look like you're on your way to the doctor's office. You know, you bring life. People can feel it around you. It's like it's life and alive, and it's expansive, and it's a rejuvenation. You see, because you're invigorated. And people misunderstand that. You can bring more life than you could ever imagine, while at the same time you may not feel like your life is working to your way. But if your whole life isn't working to your way, your life is working by not working to your way. You understand that? So you want to bring the presence of life, because that which doesn't belong to you dissipates. That's right. You don't have to do a lot of effort about it. It will just naturally leave. It will dissipate. It will move. Albert Einstein said, everybody is a genius. But if you judge a fish because it's not climbing a tree, that fish will spend the rest of its life thinking it is stupid. Right? And we are here to exceed anything that has ever happened on our planet before us. We are here to exceed that. And that's a space of holding for our soul. Yes. Our soul expressing our way, the truth, and the life so that we can fully express God. Right? It's undeniable.
That's right.
You know, oh, I love you, God, but I'm not taking you out of the house. You know, oh, I love you, God, but I can't mention you to anybody. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, because what if they don't want to be my friend? Oh, my God. You know, and it's about stepping in. Are you willing to step in?
Yes.
Boldly and joyfully. I was talking to my friend Vince and Jenna, wonderful human being. They were just here, he and his wife Eileen, and he was telling me this great story. He does wonderful readings, by the way. He was telling me this great story of in Godspell, how that Mary Magdalene said to Jesus, I'll walk with you.
Yes.
I'll walk with you, but I'll put a pedal in my shoe. Right? I know you're wondering, when was I going to get to that? Those of you that think ahead, we're already looking. We're not at the pebble of our shoe here. I'll put a pebble in my shoe. You see, that's part of a fundamental belief that we have, is that we're supposed to naturally have a pebble in our shoe. We're supposed to have something that is broken or needs to be fixed or needs to be taped or needs to be mending, because it's part of a culture of training people to not be powerful beyond measure. Because if we can keep people in our society and children in our society to thinking they're less than, like that fish not being able to climb a tree, then we have control over them. Do you understand? Do you resonate with what I'm talking about, you see? So we start out by sharing with people that you're all that, but you're not that. And well, you do pretty good in biology, but you don't have that. So you got a pebble in your shoe, And it's like, if you got your pebble in your shoe over at Fort DeSoto Park today, and you have it in your shoe, you can leave it here. You don't have to go all the way back to Fort DeSoto Park to drop it off.
All right.
Right? You can drop it here. But it's the deep belief that I can live my life and I don't need a pebble in my shoe to be reminded of celebrating the vibrancy of life that is all around me. Yes. And you'll hear it sometimes, with people. They'll go, oh, things are going pretty good. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm waiting on the shoe to drop. I hope it does, so that pebble will fall out. That's what I'm saying. Oh, things have been going great, but I'm just so happy. I'm gonna call some of my friends and let's see if we can stir up some problems. Let's spread the word around because things are just going so well. Whoa, wow. And so we're aware of that. We're just aware of it with a sense of gentleness that we can let go of the pebble in our shoe. Right? Can't we? We can let go of the pebble in our shoe. Anything is possible with that because it's consciousness. It's consciousness. I remember when I went to Asilomar in Monterey, California, and I was 33, not long ago. It's amazing. And I was there because I was going through this interview process so that I could be approved to go out and, be a minister. I'd already started a study group, but it was, itsy bitsy. And so we had to go through this interview process. Well, my classmates, they were like, oh my gosh, I just got out of there and they asked me about 75 questions about theory and Troward and all of this stuff. And they were just terrified. They kind of set it up for themselves, you see, before they had already decided they had a pebble in their shoe. Are they with me? Because this has a point, okay? And I'm thinking, well, why wouldn't they just want you to be happy? And why wouldn't they be happy that you're going to be a leader in their movement? so I walk in, and there's a panel that looked like the scene from Flashdance, about 7 or 8 of them. And then they have their clipboard. And they went, and what's your name? And, how's it going? I said, it's going great. We have a study group in Stuart, Florida. It's going wonderful. And people are coming all the time, and, lots is going on. And they said, well, your boyfriend's just down the road, isn't he? I said, yeah. And they said, well, how many people does he have a week? I said, about 35. They said, how many do you have? I said, about 86. I didn't know that was a big church then in New Thought. But anyway, so I said about 86. And they said, well, is that a problem? I said, well, not for me. And they went, keep doing what you're doing. Bye. Why is that? Mm-hmm. It's consciousness.
Yes.
It's consciousness. If you still live in a space of, I got to explain myself, I got to justify myself, I got to defend myself, there's still not a total connection with knowing I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life.
Yes.
And it's a presence, and it's a healing power, and it's an energy, you see. And that's how it unfolds. Does this connect with you? Yeah. It's something that we want to be clear in our own lives about, you see. So I helped a woman one time. We had went to Peru together, and she had some things, she wanted some energy work done. And so I worked on her, and so she wanted to invite me. I don't have a pebble, I have a string, excuse me. It was just, anyway. I always get to do my lessons out loud. Anyway, so she wanted to thank me, and she invited me over for dinner. And she was an artist, and she had amazing work, portraits and real abstract. And Mary Jo, you would have loved her work. And so anyway, there was this one painting. It had a woman and a little girl. And so I said, God, I feel like I could just walk in that painting. It's at the beach, and there's pelicans. I said, I feel like I could just walk right in. She said, well, you're going to walk that painting to your car. So I bring it home, and eventually bring it here, my other home. And I'm looking at it, and I'm doing something people don't do that much of anymore. I'm writing a handwritten note. And I'm thanking her for this beautiful painting, and all of a sudden it's like I just start to melt. And I realized that painting was a representation of my grandmother, that when I was a little girl, she brought me from the Carolinas to Florida for me to see the beach. And it was just such a defining moment, And so I was thinking and had shared with her that when I went to the beach with my grandmother, that there was this beautiful beach ball my grandmother bought me, and the ocean had taken it. So I still had a pebble in my shoe, that things can be taken from you. You see, that's an emotional belief. It's not a spiritual truth. Right? And I needed that healing. So right after I got that painting, and I'm on a cruise with my family, and I'm out talking on the deck with this man that he's on a roll telling me that the world is in a mess, and the world needs help, and people don't care anymore, and all that. And so, and then he says, and like out there in the middle of the ocean, he said, see, somebody threw trash. And I looked out there, and I said, that's not trash. That's a beach ball. And I went on to say, and that's my beach ball. And then I went on to say, and it's from my grandmother. Okay? He never talked to me again on the cruise. Right? But that was... I know. That was a shifting of belief that nothing is ever taken from you. Ever. And if it's cycling back, it's so much more than what you ever dreamed. The artist took the painting back and put a beach ball on it. A friend hung a beach ball outside my office window and still does to this day, all those years later, right? A beach ball will appear in my backyard off the water and just start communicating with me. Why? Because, like you, I have learned to allow the space. That what is. It's a way, it's a truth, and it's a life. And the more we line in with that, the more we are aware. We're really needing to do classes to teach people that they need to go outside? Really? Right? When we are outside. We're made of outside. And so it's where we get our energy. Like unto the guy that was so ill in New York. Nobody could find what was wrong with him. And so he went doctor after doctor. Fortunately, he met a practitioner that asked questions and said, tell me about your life. When's the last time you've been outside? And the man says, I don't know. Probably, I don't know when I've been outside. Hugging a tree? No, never. No, I haven't, you know. And he said, well, here's the thing. He said, tell me about your work. He said, I live on the 30th floor. I walk over a bridge. He said, you go outside and you come back. The man spent time outside. He reconnected to his source.
Yes.
And he was healed. He was healed.
All right.
You see, that's... So we had Easter, so Earth Day wasn't a Sunday, but we're bringing it into our conscious awareness today.
Yes.
And so Pam Woznicki is going to read a blessing to us. Thank you, Pam. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. So yes, this past week, the world celebrated Earth Day, and Friday was Arbor Day. And so I'm going to ask you to hold this space with me, this sacred space, as I lead you in a blessing. It is from the Chinook tribe of Oregon, and I found it to be so appropriate. We call upon the earth, our planet home, with its beautiful depths, soaring heights, its vitality and abundance of life. Together, we ask that it teach us and show us the way. We call upon the mountains, the Cascades, the Olympics, and all the worldly mountains, the high green valleys and the meadows filled with wild flowers, the snows that never melt, the summits of intense silence as we ask that they teach us and show us the way. We call upon the waters that rim the earth, horizon to horizon, that flow in our rivers and in our streams, that fall upon our gardens and fields, and ask that they teach us and show us the way. We call upon the forest, the great trees reaching strongly to the sky, with earth in their roots and heavens in their branches, the fir and the pine, the birch and the cedar. So too, our tree of life, as we see our arms reaching into the heavens and our feet deeply grounded, Mother Earth, Virgo. We ask them to teach us and show us the way. We call upon the creatures, the fields and the forest, and the seas, our brothers and sisters, the wolves and the deer. We call upon the eagle, the dove, the great whale and the dolphins, the beautiful orca and the salmon who share our Northwest home. We ask them to teach us and show us the way. We call upon those who have lived on this earth, our ancestors, our friends who dreamed the best for generations and upon whose lives our lives are built. With thanksgiving, we call upon them to teach us, to show us the way. And lastly, we call upon all we hold most sacred, the presence and the power of Great Spirit, of love and truth which flows through all the universe, through us, through our brothers and sisters of all nations, and so too through the sentient beings the great Creator created. So we ask them to teach us and show us the way. Oh. I'd like to mention that our Earth Care Ministry, we are passionate. We are so very blessed And we are certainly supported here in our mission to help everyone remember that we are part of an existence of the great web of life. And so too, whatever we do unto ourselves, we do unto others. And we have some amazing opportunities coming up. We invite all of you to join us on May 17th, 6:30 is our first of the community building and sustainable film series. We've got a lot of partnerships in that, a lot of people putting a lot of hard work into it. We've got lots of things coming up with the St. Pete Time Bank. So although we are a mighty core of about 15 or so, we would love to have many more of you join us and work with us in the partnership to be this model that we are here. We are creating here of Earth Care Ministry. Thank you.